We are about to do the very first Fairy Tail Fierce Fight tier list. Now, I want to be clear, these are my opinions after testing and playing the characters. I will be adjusting this tier list to fit the overall player base's opinions as we get opinions in the comments. So if you guys think any of these characters that I placed today should be or have a different placement than where they are put, go down in the comments at the end of the video and let me know where they should be moved and why, and we will make those adjustments accordingly in future videos. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into it. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm probably just going to go down the line, and this is not in the order that they released. This is not in the order of best to worst or anything like that. And so also, I do want to make note that I'm not going to organize the tiers themselves. I'm just going to put the characters into the tiers. So because I put, like, if I put these two into S tier and Natsu's ahead of Erza, it doesn't necessarily mean Natsu is better than Erza. They're just both in the same tier, okay? So I'm not organizing the tiers in this video. Now, with that said, the new Son of Dragon Natsu, he just came out, and as a 4-star, I'm going to kind of base most of my SSR placements on them being 4 stars, because most people aren't going to get them to 5, 6 stars. They're not going to get them second origin right away, right? So I want to give you guys a list of characters that are the most useful right away to you, characters that you can invest in, get to max level 60, get them to 4 stars, tier them up all the way, and have them be useful. So who is the strongest basically at 4 stars for SSRs? And then we'll throw in the SRs and the rares as well, but we'll count them at 6 stars because technically SRs and rares are easy to get to 6 stars. They're easy to get second origins if you choose to. But with that said, Natsu, I think he is a decent unit. I think he has really good burst potential, but at 4 stars, I feel like he's just kind of not great in like peak arena. He's okay in regular contest because you can let his rage build up while you have other characters out in the field. Then he comes out and one-shots an enemy. Like, he can be really good for that. Same thing with like Perdition Palace and other forms of content. He's just a really good nuker, and I think he has really good potential in that aspect. But just in terms of like overall his uses in the game, he's not as good in peak arena. So if we're looking at like contests, we're looking at peak arena, or sorry, yeah, contest, peak arena, and then PvE content, right? So the 2 forms of PvP and then PvE content. He's good at PvE, he's good at PvP, but he's bad at peak arena. So because he's good at like 2 out of the 3 things, I think for now I'm going to put him in B tier. I might go back and switch some of these characters as we go too, but we'll see. But I feel like that's a decent placement for him right now. Now, if you were to tier him up, you were to get him starred up, he could potentially be better, right? But in my opinion, I feel like at 4 stars, Natsu is kind of a B tier character. Now, Erza, on the other hand, Erza is a very strong character, but I have magic devices for versatility characters, and she is a versatility character, but I feel like she has a very strong kit, and her moves come up fairly frequently. I would actually probably put Erza in A tier. I think she is a step above Natsu. I don't know that she's like the best in the game. I think with magic devices and having her start up and whatnot, she definitely becomes a lot better. She could definitely be an S tier character. She's one that kind of rides the line, in my opinion, between S and A. But for now, I'm going to put her in A tier. Next, we have Gildarts. Gildarts at 4 stars is not great. He's tanky. He carried me through the beginning of the game. Like, he can be a good character for you early on in the game. But later on, I feel like he's just not that great. I might actually would put... it's C or D. It's C or D for Gildarts, honestly, and that hurts me because I love Gildarts as a character, but his moves just aren't that great. The silence isn't that, like, it's okay, but like it's not all that. It's yeah, I gotta go D actually, just his overall kit. I'm putting him D for now. Once again, if you don't agree with any of these, we can adjust them later, but for now I think Gildarts going in that tier is fine. Next up we have Evergreen. Evergreen is a character, she does okay in peak arena because she has the ability to move while she shoots. One of the few characters like that does that, so it helps her avoid some of the attacks. She also has a stun, and I don't know, she has decent utility, right? I feel like she just doesn't do a ton of damage, but at the same time she's okay. I feel like if we're putting Natsu B, we probably should put Evergreen B as well. She might be a B or C character. She's a B or C character. She's somewhere in there, right? I'm not sure if she's B. There is an argument for her to be C. I don't think she's any higher than B right now, though. Arore is a decent character, but I mean, in terms of characters that you're going to invest in for SRs and rares, I don't necessarily think you should be investing in him too much. I mean, he has good utility with like being able to stop people in their tracks and whatnot, but other than that, I feel like I feel like D tier, might be C tier. Definitely not F, but like not great. Erza, very, very good. Damage reduction can be very strong if you get her to second origin. I'm going to kind of base SRs and stuff on being able to get them to 6 stars, being able to get them to second origin, because a lot of the SRs and rares in this game over time, you'll just get them to 6 stars. You'll just get them to second origin. Like most of these are screenshots of characters straight from my game, right? Most of them are 6 stars just from summoning for other characters. Erza, I would probably honestly put her, I'm going to put her in, I'm going to put her in A tier. She's really, really good. So that is an SR you want to invest in. She will do good for you in Peak Arena. She'll do decent in PvP, not as good in PvP, but okay. And she'll do really good in like Perdition Palace, for example, in PvE content, and she'll be good in other forms of PvE content as well. So I feel like Erza going in A tier is fair for her. Next, we have Angel. Angel at 4 stars is good because she can carry you through, like especially if you're in early game content, she can carry you through that because she can make a copy of another ally and make that ally last for 15 seconds. And if you get her skill leveled up, that ally gets 40% of her own stats. So the higher you have this Angel leveled up, the higher the ally is going to be that she clones with Gemini. So I feel like Angel, honestly, I like her more than I like Natsu and Evergreen, but they're, once again, a character that kind of rides the line between B and A. But I feel like putting her in A tier is fair because she has pretty decent utility. Cobra has the evasion on his leader skill. He is fairly decent with damage as well. I would put him probably still, though, because he's kind of squishy, in B tier with these other two. I feel like that's a fair placement for him. Next, we have Elfman. Elfman is a character I'd probably just not invest in. Like, he's, in my opinion, he's not that great. And then Arya is another character like Arore who has good utility, can stop people in their tracks and whatnot. He's okay. He's a big target. I don't know, he's just not great. Brain can do a ton of damage if people have him leveled up. And you get a lot of copies of him for free, kind of just while summoning for other characters. But at the same time, he kind of has to stand still while using his laser, and that can open him up to a lot of attacks. So, I mean, just in general, he's another character that rides kind of the B, C category area. And this is probably the one that's going to be controversial. People are going to probably be like, Brain is better than Cobra, or Cobra is better than Brain, vice versa. But Cobra and Brain, very close together. They could be probably in the same tier, but I have to put somebody in C tier. So I think Cobra's slightly better than Brain, in my opinion, just because Cobra's able to move around as much as he is, and Brain, a lot of his stuff like kind of locks him into place when he's using his abilities, so that's kind of like a little bit of a detriment to him. Visca has an incredible one-shot similar to this Natsu. She can be very, very strong for that one particular thing. Now, outside of that, I don't know that you really want to invest in her too much. She can be good for, like, you know, going against the guild boss and stuff like that. But I would probably I'm going to put her in C tier. I would argue D tier, honestly, but I'll put her in C tier because of that one-shot crit potential. Like, she does a lot of damage, okay? So I'll put her there literally for that one reason, but otherwise I'd probably put her down in D tier there. Hoteye has really good AoE range, can have really good damage if you level him up. He is definitely one of the characters that can carry you through early game. Now, I don't think he's as good as these 3 characters up here in A, so I will put him in B tier. I do think he's about on par with any of those characters right there. Next up, we have Gray. Gray, getting him to second origin. I've seen a lot of people in Peak Arena do this because he has the Ice Blood and the damage reduction that comes with it and everything that he does, and he can do a decent amount of damage as well. Honestly, I probably put Gray as, I think I still put him as a B tier unit. Like, he's good. Maybe there's an argument for A, but in general, unless you're getting the second origin, he's definitely B tier. If you get the second origin, he could be better, okay? So that's just where I'd put him, assuming you're going to get close, or get him to 6 stars, or get him close to having second origin, or get him second origin. He's there. Without his second origin, with him being not 6 stars, like, he's definitely a lot lower. Same for any of these SR rare characters, so just keep that in mind. Next, we have Levy. I love Levy as a character. As a character in the game, though, I feel like she goes right there. Her moves are just really weird, the way her kit works, and I feel like half of them kind of miss sometimes with the way the placement works for them. So I'm putting her there with Elfman. That feels fair to me. Jura has some pretty good, like, ranged attacks to a degree, like AoE, not ranged, I shouldn't say, but like AoE attacks, I guess. and I feel like he can be pretty decent for that utility. He's similar to Hoteye, so I'll just put him up here. I like him, and I feel like him and Hoteye are just very, very similar in what they do. And then next we have Laxus. Laxus does a lot of straight line damage, but his damage can be really insane. I feel like Laxus will really be able to carry people earlier in the game and even later in the game who need a damage character, and he has good damage sustain. It's not like Natsu, who has just one move that does damage. I would say all of his moves do pretty good damage. Now the drawback is that it is all in a straight line, but even then I feel like it kind of pulls people in, especially his special skill, which is like an electric field. So I would actually put Laxus up here in A tier, probably with these other characters. I think he is worth investing in, and he's pretty good. Loki, or Leo, whatever you want to call him, right? He is okay at 4 stars. If you put some like healing items on him, he'll be better, but like he doesn't have any range, and that not having range holds him back a lot. But at the same time, he has a lot of crit, and he could potentially, if you build him correctly, just one-shot people, similar to like Biska and Natsu. And so I feel like for now, I'm gonna put him here in C tier. There is an argument to be in B tier though. I do think Natsu might be a little bit better for that one-shot potential, but he's similar to Biska, so like it's either C or B for him. Once again, argument for either. Hard to say where I would necessarily want to place him. Kageyama, he's definitely not, I don't think he's as bad as these two in my opinion. I would put him probably right here because he does have his utility to stun and whatnot. He's okay. Going in D tier, I feel like is fair alongside Erza and Arya. He goes all right there. Ikaruga, now this character is a character when you first start out in the game on a new server that you want to get as one of the first banners because she is very, very good. A lot of people were like, when I first started the game, you need to try to get her because she'll carry you through stuff. And lo and behold, I didn't get her. I got Gildarts, and then later on, when the banner reran, I got Ikaruga. And the thing is, she's an agility character, and all the other good characters in the game are going to be like versatility characters like Erza and Laxus. And so I don't really actually think it's necessary to pull for Ikaruga as much as it is necessary to pull for other versatility characters, because versatility characters, you're going to want to get versatility magic devices as opposed to an agility magic device, because she is like legitimately the only good agility character here. So magic devices make a big difference in the game when you get to that point and you learn about magic devices, and you're going to want to focus on like versatility or power magic devices in general. And so Ikaruga is one of those characters I don't think you necessarily want to go super crazy on and invest to get her to like 5 or 6 stars. I think 4 stars is fine. But with that said, even having her at 4 stars, she has a pretty good wide sweeping AoE. Her skill 3 is hard to dodge. She's very, very strong. And so I would probably put her in B tier with these others. I don't think she's quite on par with these characters, but I do think she is pretty close. She could be up there with Laxus. If you got her to 5 stars, definitely up there, right? And now looking at this, it makes me doubt a little bit looking at Angel, but I feel like I'm going to keep her there still because I think the Gemini, having Gemini is just still so strong for having that extra damage, especially when you want to like nuke bosses and stuff. You just pop Angel out there for a second, let her pop Gemini, and then you put out your DPS again, and then your DPS is going alongside the copy of Gemini doing extra damage, so it's pretty good. And then if you were to have like Jose with his ball as well, on top of the Gemini, you can have like 3 people out on the field at once, basically, is what it feels like. It's really OP. Juvia is okay. She's really, really easy to dodge in PvP. In Peak Arena, I've seen her be okay. She's just okay. She's so mid. And same thing in like overall content, she's just mid in my opinion. I don't think she's that great. I'm going to put Juvia right there. A lot of her stuff is straight lined. It's okay. Her special skill is the best AoE, like stun. It's the best part about her, but it takes a second to proc and it's easy to dodge. So overall, just because she's so easy to dodge, I put her in C tier. Like she's okay. She could be better. Jose, absolute glass cannon in my opinion. Like he can do so much damage, but he can die so easily. I would almost, for the sake of damage and like carries, I think Jose is an A tier character. I think he's as good as Laxus when it comes to damage. Like Jose deserves to be up here. He's actually really, really good. Jellal is one of those characters who I would say he has damage. He has good utility with the imprison. He has good speed. He has a lot of good things going for him. Jellal is one of the very few S characters. I'd put him in S. He's a very decent character in my opinion. I do think he's kind of a cut above all these others. So there's your first S tier character. Not a ton of S tier characters here, but I do think think Jellal is a very good character, definitely worth investing in, definitely worth summoning for. He'll be very, very good for you. Ishia, yeah, I'm gonna go F with him. Leon can be very good if you are able to get second origin for him. I would put him on the level of Gray, if not higher, so I think Leon can go into B tier. Now, the problem with Leon is still like he has kind of the build up for his moves and stuff like that, which can be a struggle, but I feel like at the same time, the damage reduction that he gets, he can just be very, very good. So I feel like having him in B tier is fair. It might be an argument to go a little bit higher for him. Lucy is okay. She has good utility, like really good utility with the stuns and stuff like that. But you know what? Nah, she is better than Gildarts, right? Like she's better than these D tier characters. I'd put her in C. She's about as good as Juvia. Like she has her uses, right? Totemaru, I actually literally hate this character. I just don't like his cat. I don't like how he jumps backwards to attack. It's weird, so I'm putting him in F tier for sure. Soul, another good character with really good utility. Not the most damage, but because of the utility, I'll put him in C tier alongside Lucy. Like these two, similar reasons for being here. They just have really good utility, stuns, things like that. Sherry, another character I'd probably honestly put here in F tier. I don't like her kit that much. She could maybe be D tier, but I'm going to keep her in F right now. I don't like her that much, okay? Racer can be very annoying, but he doesn't do tons of damage. I feel like with the right team build, he could be a little bit better. He's definitely a C or a B character. I don't feel like he's as good as the B characters up here, though. And so for that reason, like at 4 stars, like I'd put Racer probably here with Brain. Like he's okay. There is potentially an argument to have him up there a little bit higher, but I feel like that's a decent place for him. This Natsu has been the bane of my existence for a very long time. The rare Natsu, actually, he's very, very, very good in Peak Arena, very strong. The burn is insane. I almost feel like second origin Natsu here. You need to have him second origin, by the way, for him to be as good as I'm talking about. But second origin Natsu here is almost better than Son of Dragon Natsu. Like he is very good. And I would probably put him in A tier as well. That is a rare character in A tier for you. So that's a free-to-play character. 2 free-to-play characters in A tier, right? So that's nice. Characters that you can work on. Next, we have Mystigan. Mystigan has decent utility again, just similar to like Brain, though he has to stand still for a lot of it. So I'm going to put him in C tier. There might even be an argument for him to be down in D tier, but like, I don't know. He's okay. He has the shield and stuff that he does. So I'm going to put him in C. I feel like C's fair. Minerva, absolute beast of a unit. Now, I don't like Minerva that much in the anime, but in the game, like, I actually rate Minerva. I actually rate Minerva so much. I put her in S tier. She is an S tier character in my opinion. Like, very, very good. The healing that she does, the damage that she does, oh my gosh, I think she is absolutely insane. One of the best characters. If I get a chance when she comes back around, this is a character I would probably want to get to second origin. She is that good. I really, 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 really rate Minerva. She's so good. Makarov, not the greatest when you even like 4 stars. As you level him up, I have him at second origin, and I still feel like he's not the greatest. Like, he's okay. He has the big AoE fairy law, you know, that does decent damage, but his cooldowns are kind of crap, and his cooldowns taking as long as they do is a bit rough. I feel like I would probably put him... I feel like I have to put him in C tier as well, alongside Mystigan. Like, he does have a little bit more movement. He can move while using his abilities and stuff like that. But there is an argument for Makarov, I will say, to be up towards B tier. Yeah, I would say no higher than B tier though. But to be up towards B tier, like if you got a second origin and stuff like that, maybe A tier if you put him on the right team. Like, you have to build a team specifically like to work with him though. Gachiel is a character who is very strong. At 4 stars, he can carry you through the early game. Later in the game, he does fall off a little bit, but I feel like Gachiel can be a very solid character for you, and just because of his solidness, I would probably put him up here towards either C or B. There might be an argument for Gachiel to be B, but I feel like he's not quite as good as Gray and Leon, like with their damage reduction and stuff that they do, so I feel like I have to put him in C, but there could be an argument, to put him up into B tier. Midnight, absolute god tier unit, goes S. Like, there's no argument. I may have him second origin, but even without him second origin, like, he is very good with his ability to do the tornado and keep people off him, and then to push people away with his ultimate. Like, it's just a lot of really good utility on top of big damage. Like, it's just so good. Utility, damage, he lowers cooldowns of your team. It's just a lot of stuff that he offers. So Midnight, a very, very good character to pull on. Mira Jane, I love Mira Jane in the anime. In the game, she's kind of meh in my opinion. So I would probably put Mira Jane, even honestly, no, actually, I was going to say below Natsu, below Son of Dragon Natsu, but she's about on par. These two are about on par for like Fest units. I would say Erza is a little bit better, and then the best technically right now is probably Minerva for Fest units. In my opinion, that's kind of how I would order the Fest units, at least right there. So you can see, but yeah, Mira Jane, I don't know, her moves are just kind of wonky. I wish that it was a little bit better. Makao can do a lot of damage. I actually probably rate him at C2. I would say he's pretty good with his AoE, his burns, the stuff that he does. Like, I feel like he's got a decent kit. Ultier, I don't really like her kit. I don't really like what she does, so I'm gonna put her into F tier. Wendy, this might even be honest. You know what? I'm putting her in S tier. I'm putting Wendy in S tier simply because she's like the only character that can heal other characters, and that's big. That almost becomes necessary in late game. Like, she's really, really good. So if there's a character you should invest in that's a free-to-play character, it should be Wendy. Very, very good. Kana is the last character we have to place, and Kana is, she's just okay. She's not as bad as these F tier characters, but she's not as good as like the C tier characters. So I feel like D is fine for Kana. And I actually kind of like the way this tier list looks for the first tier list. I'm pretty happy with the way it kind of balances out, you know, not too many S tier, and then a few more A tier, a few more B tier, the most C tier, a couple down in D and F. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Are there any characters you guys would move around? Are you happy with the way I did it? Are you happy with any of the characters? I would appreciate the positive feedback too if I placed any of these correctly, but maybe I did them all wrong. Let me know down in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed the video, if you'd like to see more Fairy Tail Fierce Fight content, more tier list content for this game, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.